I've really enjoyed listening to all of this, and there have been a couple of things that really stood out for me. One is the point about understanding what it is that's really important about making your idea work as you're testing it out. So that might be about activities, it might be about principles, and then thinking about how you might then need to help others understand what those activities and principles are. The other thing that stood out just for me personally was the need to really think about who you're engaging and how, as really early on as you're developing and testing and implementing your model. So with an eye to scaling, if this is going to have, because ultimately all of the work is about having a really great impact on children and young people. So with an eye to trying to have an impact at a wider scale, who do you need to engage and how as you work? So those are the things that stood out for me. I'm going to ask David if there are any concluding comments that he would like to make before we finish.
So just to echo that really, Vicky, I think it's about the range of stakeholders. So we've talked about not just other authorities, other agencies and so forth, but decision makers, users, policy makers, commissioners and so forth are all really important to engage, not in a consultative way, but in the actual development and learning about an innovation. So the range of stakeholders that we engage in, as is the diversity. So I was interested, as Phil was name-checking those local authorities, the more diverse the groups that we can get involved, the more we can test out the ability of that innovation to work in different contexts and to understand what's really critical and essential about it. So range and diversity and engagement are really, really important issues.
Great, thank you very much, David. So in a bid to try and finish on time, I want to thank everybody who's dialed in, who's looked online, who's participated with questions and reflections, and in particular Phil, thank you, and Louise and David. David's presentation and the recording of the webinar are going to be on the Spring Consortium website in the next few weeks. And as I said, if you do have any follow-up questions you'd like to ask, please do email us. You'll find the email address also on the website. And that brings us to the end of the webinar. So thank you very much, everyone. We'll conclude the webinar there.